And they are underway in Allen Park, Michigan.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? Matt Dery with you on a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day on a Wednesday, July 24th and a Thursday, July 25th. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. We're here. We are ready to talk about training camp day one down in Allen Park. Dan Campbell meeting the media today at 8 o'clock this morning, bright and early before the team hit the field. What was his message to the team? What's the best one-liner of the day? We'll get into that. We got to talk about injuries. We got to talk about studs and duds. All of that today here on a training camp day one edition of Locked On Lions. Again, thanks for checking us out on YouTube. For those of you that subscribe and watch for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel, thank you for doing so. Locked On Lions today brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first ticket purchase. Terms apply. Thank you to our everydayers who are out there that watch or listen to the podcast. My man, Colin Eads, he's an everydayer. Thank you, Mike Vanderpool, all the crew that to check out and watch the show or listen to the show daily. We appreciate you as well. All right, a lot to get into and discuss today. I'm not going to do a call of the day on our SpeakPipe voicemail. We'll do that tomorrow. If you want to contribute and leave a voicemail for us, speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page gets you on the show if you want to leave us a voicemail. All right, so here's the thing. This is obvious, and you knew this was coming today. The Detroit Lions are the hunted now. They were the hunters last year. They were going after something. They were going after winning a division. They wanted to win a playoff game. They wanted to host a playoff game. They ended up hosting two. The Lions were on a mission last year to prove people wrong, to take that next step, and they've accomplished that. Now's the tough part. How do you repeat it? How do you go out and do the things you did last year, but do them even better this year? How do you still have that fire? How do you still have that motivation? You got a first place schedule you're playing. You got to go to San Francisco. You got to go to Dallas. You got to play Buffalo. All right. These are all what comes with success. And now people are trying to knock you down. Yesterday, I pointed this out that USA Today picked the Packers to go 13-4 and go to the Super Bowl. So, and the Lions to win 11 games. So the motivator for this team, and I love what Dan Campbell said today at his 8 o'clock in the morning press conference. He talked about the veteran players and how they've got to own this team now. He mentioned Decker and Ragnow and Sewell and Anzalone and Barnes and guys that have been around. And he said, they got to keep this team in line. These guys have been here now. So for a lot of them, their fourth year. And they've got to police, all of this stuff. They've been here. They know it. They know what the expectations are. But to start off today, Dan Campbell's message was pretty simple. He said, we don't live off reputation. We live off work. Let me repeat that. We don't live off reputation. We live off work. He does not want to see complacency. Dan Campbell played on a team, and I think it was the Giants in the early 2000s, that one year went 12-4, and everybody was lathering them up. And then the next year, they won 7 games. 7 games. So this is a team that a lot of people like. This is a team that I like, right? That all of you like, that many people feel are going to be contenders for the Super Bowl. What have I said the last couple of days? By the way, follow us on Twitter, Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions, Matt Dery Facebook fan page. What have I said the last couple of days? Distractions in Green Bay with Jordan Love. Distractions in Dallas. McCarthy, Dak, CD Lamb's holding out. These are the teams at the top of the league. Brandon Ayuk wants to be traded. Philadelphia, people like. What if they start 1-3? Is Sirianni in trouble? All right. As far as distractions go, down at the Meyer Performance Center on the campus of 222 Rodwood Drive. No, there's no distractions. There's nothing uneasy about what's going on. It's just business. But Dan Campbell made it a point to say, we live off of work. Don't live off of our reputation. The Lions have a really good reputation. It's scary how good the reputation is. Dan Campbell wanted to make it clear. This team is going to practice hard. They're going to be in pads, by the way, on Monday for the first open practice with the fans. Or actually, I think the first open practice for the fans is Saturday. Monday, they'll be in pads. This week, they're going to ramp it up each day. They only practice for about an hour and a half today. But Dan Campbell made it a point of saying, we got to stay motivated. We got to take it one game at a time, 1 week at a time, one practice at a time. And he's going to rely on veteran players that have been there and done that to keep an even keel. Campbell today had his grit hat on, and that was by design. All right. Grit has got to still be what this team is about. Yes, they had seemed like half dozen Pro Bowlers last year. Yes, everybody's picking them to have success. Actually, last year, the Lions had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had 8 Pro Bowlers last year that ended up going. Goff, Sewell, Laporta, Hutch, Reeves, Maben, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, and Ragnow. So this star-studded team, right? Remember the joke that Jared Goff had with Wojo last year? Star-studded team can't get complacent. And Dan Campbell wants to see them continue to put the work in and still have grit. He had a different grit hat on today, the kind of the multicolored one with the white mesh on the side, the black in the front. I thought it looked good. But Campbell got away a little bit in June and got away from Allen Park, got away from the facility, got away from football, spent time with his family. You got to do that. I think this team is set up for success, but you can't over-obsess about the success or anything else. You got to get away a little bit, recharge the batteries, and then come back to work. So I love the message. I think it resonates with this team, and I'm not worried about complacency. What I am worried about is a tough schedule. Certainly injuries can play a factor. The health of DJ Reader, which we will talk about momentarily. All of that is in play. Teams are going to come after the Lions. The Rams in week 1, September 8th, Sunday night, they want revenge. The Rams, remember the last time they played, it was at Ford Field. The Rams will be playing back-to-back games that count at Ford Field. They want revenge. They want to come back and win. Week 2 is Tampa Bay. I'm not in love with Tampa Bay. That was a playoff team last year that won a playoff game, whose season ended where? Ford Field. So teams are going to be gunning for the Lions. Week 3 against Arizona. The Cardinals are building themselves to be the Lions. They want to be the Lions. Same setup with the coach and GM, same philosophy with drafting, all of that. So that's what concerns me. Not that this team is not going to work hard or be gritty or lose their identity. I'm not buying that. But Dan Campbell's message of we don't live off of reputation. We live off of our work. That's it. They got to continue to work. And the first big day is Monday when they get into pads for the first time. Today it was just shirts and shorts, basically, and helmets for this squad. All right. Who's on the PUP list? Who is on the non-football injury list? Who has come off of the injured list and PUP? All of that next. Also, who had a good day today? We got into the wild day that was Jameson Williams as well. Right here on Locked On Lions. It is a Wednesday edition. Thanks for all of you making us your first listen each and every day. And Locked On Lions brought to you by the Gametime app. Gametime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. Tigers back home this weekend. You want to check out some of the games? Get your last minute deals at Gametime with the Gametime app. All in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. It really is great. All right. They got something in there called all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. So you know exactly what you're paying right away. Not with some of these other apps where at the end you go, wait a minute, that's not what I paid. I thought I only paid $20. Fees, and it turned out to be 40 and you got screwed. Don't do that. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Football is back, ladies and gentlemen, in Allen Park. How great is this? Your Detroit Lions back at the Meyer Performance Center, and I'll be calling it on the campus of 222 Rodwood Drive. For practice today, went about an hour and a half. Pads on Monday. They will ramp up each day 15, 20 minutes or so. So by Saturday, when some of the fans are there, with an off day Sunday, it'll be likely a 2.5 hour practice. All right, let's get into some injury business here. First and foremost, DJ Reader still is on the physically unable to perform list. Coming back from the quad surgery, the torn quad for the second time. Dan Campbell said today he's excited to see DJ Reader. They're ramping him up. He's close, right? They just want to kind of get him back into shape, but that he's fully healed. So that's good news. They're hoping to get DJ Reader back soon, but still for right now, he is on the physically unable to perform list. 3 big names are on the non-football injury list. Nothing was said specifically on why these players are on this list. Is it guys that maybe had an issue with the physical or whatever, or when they checked in? But Carlton Davis did not practice today. He's on the non-football injury list. Amik Robertson on NFI, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. Biggest thing is those are 2 positions, cornerback and receiver, that are highly competitive right now. Highly competitive. So a guy like Doris Fountain, who's kind of the 5th, 6th receiver, had a good day today. DPJ wasn't out there. So a little bit of a leg up on day one for a guy like Fountain, who had a good day today. As far as players that have come off of the PUP list and were out there today, a lot of them just walking through, not ready yet for competition, 7-on-7, 11-on-11. Giovanni Manu, the rookie. Brian Branch is back, was out there just walking through, nothing major yet. And Marcus Davenport as well. That's going to be a big one because it seems like every year, whether it was in New Orleans, whether it was in Minnesota, the edge rusher Davenport, who's on a 1-year deal at $6.5 million and was brought in on a 1-year deal, always seems to have injury concerns. But that's a guy that's going to be a big piece of the puzzle if he's healthy, because we've talked about it. Concerns? Our guy Michael hit us up on SpeakPipe yesterday. Concerns? Edge rusher opposite of Hutchinson. I got 2 texts today from people that were at Allen Park, one media and one guy close to the situation, I will say, who both said the best player on the field today on day one was Aiden Hutchinson. That he just looks like a star, looks like a stud, motor's going already on day one. We know there's no contact, there's not a lot of physical stuff, there's not even shells on, but that Aiden Hutchinson was awesome today on day one. That's what I was told from some of my people on the inside. Also, injury-wise, Emmanuel Mosley looks good, which is great. Remember, 1 year ago at this time, Mosley was on PUP, coming back from a torn ACL. Then comes back, tears his ACL in week 3, week 4, and had to do it all over again. But Emmanuel Mosley is fully recovered from that second ACL. He told the media afterwards he feels great, and he wants to be out on the field. You know, we've talked so much about Davis, Robertson, Arnold, Branch, who still is considered a cornerback until further notice. Rakestraw was drafted in the 2nd round. Nobody's mentioning Emmanuel Mosley. And he wants to be out on the field. and feels fully recovered. And today played some nickel, so he was on the inside, played some outside corner. This is a dude with a lot of experience, played in a winning franchise with San Francisco, and is healthy. Lions, if they can get Davis, Robertson, Arnold, Rakestraw, Mosley, even Vildor, they're deep at corner if they're healthy. Deep undercover. No, they're deep. So that's a good sign with Emmanuel Mosley. Also, with Marcus Davenport out and just in a walkthrough basis only and not participating in actually competition, Josh Paschal was lined up as the edge starter today, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson with the first team, which is interesting. I've always said it. Paschal kind of moves around. 1 minute he's playing edge. 1 minute he's playing on the interior as a defensive tackle. Big year for Paschal. This is a guy that occasionally, do you remember when Josh Paschal was a rookie and came back from injury? I think his first game was in Dallas, and he made like a tackle for a loss, like on his first snap. And you're like, whoa, this guy could be really good. And then there's games you watch and you say, is Josh Paschal on the field? You just don't know. There's just not a lot of consistency there. But the coaches obviously are thinking pretty highly of him because he lined up with the first team yesterday. On the opposite end of the spectrum is John Kaminsky, the commish. How about Kaminsky lining up with the third team today? Whew. Been a lot of speculation, a lot of stories online about who could be a cut candidate early on for the Lions, who might not make the team, who could be a surprise cut. And Kaminsky's name has come up. John Kaminsky signed a 1-year deal a couple of years ago and played phenomenal football. That was 2022. He was really, really good. Popular in the locker room. Had a monster Week 18 game, Lions-Packers, 2 years ago that helped spoil Aaron Rodgers' final game in the green and gold. Kaminsky was everywhere. Forced a fumble. Was awesome. Last year, mediocre. Repping with the third team today was John Kaminsky. So take that and do what you want with it. But, I'm interested in seeing James Houston was out there today with both the 1s and 2s. Again, you got to get to the quarterback. We could talk all day about the secondary, and the secondary is so much better. So much better. Last year at this time, we're talking about Stephen Gilmore, Cam Sutton, Solomon Thomas. All right. The Lions have a lot of options, a lot better options. But those corners are still going to get beat if the quarterback has too much time to throw. You got to get pass rush, not named Hutchinson. And so today, Paschal with the 1s, Kaminsky with the 3s. James Houston was out there today, as was Matthew Betts and others. Interesting day for the guy that is probably the biggest lightning rod when it comes to the fans. Some fans think this guy's going to be the next Jerry Rice. Other people think he's going to be selling minute rice one day at Meijer. Jameson Williams. We will talk about J-Mo's day coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. We are so excited, so happy to be talking about practices and games coming up. Preseason is just a few weeks away. What is it, like 16, 15 days away? Giants, then Chiefs and Steelers, and then the real deal, September 8th against the Rams. Kelly Stafford's coming back to town. All right. I never even mentioned that whole Kelly Stafford said she slept with the other quarterback to make Matthew jealous routine. Like, who talks like that? Well, I know one person that does. I'm not doing that. All right. Coming up next, Jameson Williams' day right here on Locked On Lions. And we're brought to you today by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. All right, Matt Dery back with you on a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions. Lions will be back on the practice field tomorrow. Another day of just shorts and shirts. Eventually they'll get into some shells, and then they'll put the pads on Monday. So very exciting time. Football is back. Fans will be in the down at the Meyer Performance Center on Saturday, and also on Monday for the padded practice. So a lot of you on the YouTube comments pissed off by yesterday's show where we talked USA Today and how they predicted the Packers to be 13-4. Lions finish 11-6 and finish in second place in the division. I'm still not buying that Green Bay is going to be better than Detroit. All right, one key for this offense. Josh Reynolds gone. Really no replacement for him when it came to wide receiver, because this organization is waiting here in year 3 for one Jameson Williams to step up and have a special season. 8-9 touchdowns, 900 yards receiving. Today, I mentioned Aiden Hutchinson being the best player on the field. There were some that said Jamo looked great. 40-yard touchdown catch from Jared Goff. Running better routes. A lot of speed. No balls hit the turf. He caught everything today. So it was a Jameson Williams coming out party. Now, we've also heard this before. I'm not dissing him. Don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for him. I know I've been harsh on him on this show. It's because he's a first-round pick, because he's a top-notch talent. He's got so much speed, so much potential. And I think he's going to have a good year. But the roller coaster that is Jameson Williams was a little bit up and down today, because after a play that he had made during practice, he yacked on the field. He threw up. Only Jameson Williams, right? He couldn't have just had a great day. He couldn't have just caught everything and been like, ooh, oohs and ahs from media members and everything else. He puked on the field. Kyle Meinke from MLive.com, I caught up with him afterwards. Said, what's up with that? And he said, it must have been something I had for breakfast. It was a food thing, and it was just a stomach problem. It wasn't being out of shape. But that's the thing. It's like, if there were fans there today that saw Jamo puking on the field, the first thing that comes to mind is he's winded. He's out of shape. He's throwing up. This used to be the old adage at training camp when you'd go through these terrible drills and have to run the hill and all these things. And guys are puking left and right because it's day one and they're not in shape. No, Jameson Williams is in great shape. Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic pointed out, body looks toned. He looks like he's lean. It looks like there's more speed there. And you think about it, and you talk about all the weapons that the Lions have offensively. Gibbs, Montgomery, Craig Reynolds when he's in the game. Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Khalif Raymond is a weapon. He is. A lot of speed. But the guy that can take the top off the defense, the guy that has the size and the speed to change games is Jamo. And again, we've heard this before. Jamo looked great today. Oh, Jamo looked good today. We've heard this before. Now it's time for him to go out and prove it. And I love the fact that on day one, he did make a statement. I mean, that reverse last year in the NFC Championship game against the Niners, where he waltzed into the end zone, that's the kind of big playability we see. And Ben Johnson, the Lions' fine offensive coordinator, is going to try every which way to get Jameson Williams the football because he's a playmaker. Question is he going to catch it? Is he going to find it? And is there going to be, they're relying on him. Reynolds is gone. And look, Josh Reynolds is not a Pro Bowl player. Right? Josh Reynolds was a solid 2-3 guy. But when Jared Goff in the red zone needed to find somebody that he relied upon, he looked for Josh Reynolds a lot. Josh Reynolds made a lot of plays over the last couple of years. and was a really good football player. Lions didn't want to pay him what he was looking for. Ends up going to Denver and getting a couple of years. And Detroit did not replace him. And there's free agent receivers still out there that are looking for jobs. The Lions feel like with Antoine Green, with DPJ when he's healthy, Fountain, and these others, that they're okay there. And they've got Jameson Williams too. And that's going to have to be the new number 2. But the bottom line is this. We are sitting here today talking about practices and players and stuff that went on the field. And to me, that just is awesome. That makes me so happy. All right, so we're going to be back again tomorrow with another installment of Locked On Lions. We'll recap day 2 down in Allen Park. We'll do a call of the day tomorrow. So go to speakpipe.com/Dery, Dery podcast page, and leave your voicemails. We'll play one tomorrow, the best one. So check us out again wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Don't forget, after tonight's Guardians-Tigers game, it is Locked On Detroit Sports, the postcast with Jake Riepma. Find it on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, and check that out as well. We'll see you tomorrow. Oops, hit the wrong button. How about we'll see you tomorrow now?